What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome into Underground Sports Philadelphia, episode number 454. It's KB and Matt coming at you from Underground Studios. It has been a wild week, and it's only Wednesday in the world of Philadelphia sports. So we're going to dive into all the latest for you, from the Phils to the Sixers and everything in between. But before we get started, make sure you're following us on the socials at Underground PHI on Twitter, Instagram. Later on in the show, we're going to live announce our winner of our Brian Dawkins variant cover comic book giveaway. So stay tuned if you're watching live for that. And it'll obviously be on audio and YouTube Thursday. Make sure you're following us, though, for more giveaways, more updates, and everything on all your favorite Philadelphia sports teams at Underground PHI on Twitter, on Instagram. Follow Matt on Twitter at Matt Castorina. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Check out the website, undergroundsportsphiladelphia.com, for all of our written content. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there, and leave those 5-star ratings and reviews on Apple and Spotify. It really goes a long way, helps more people find the show, and gets us back on those charts. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Smash that like button, ring the bell icon so you don't miss a single episode of your favorite Underground Sports Philadelphia podcast in full video form. And, of course, comment down below with your thoughts on everything we're talking about on the show this week. Big thank you to our sponsors who make this show happen: Main Auto LLC, Ducharme's Pro Foot, Security 21 Security Systems, Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated, and the Dental Wellness Center of Vineland. Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the game. Go to tomahawkshades.com and use code USP at checkout for 25% off sunglasses, blue light glasses, prescription lenses, everything in between. Tomahawkshades.com, code USP at checkout for 25% off your order. Kenwood Beer, go to kenwoodbeer.com and use the Kenny tracker to see who's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Philadelphia area. You got to be 21 or older to do so. And, of course, please drink responsibly. And Bino Board, our new favorite tabletop game for your man cave, your she shed, your tailgating experiences with football right around the corner. Go get your hands on a Bino Board. Go to binoboard.com, and on your boards, your accessories for your boards, merch, apparel, use code BINOUSP at checkout. You get 10% off your order at binoboard.com. What's going on, Matt?
Living the dream, you know?
Seems like the Phillies are also living the dream, as they delivered you with an incredible birthday weekend.
Yes.
To kick off just another year around the sun. They sweep the Nationals for you, and they just continue to win. They are now in sole possession of the second wild card in the National League.
Is that legal? Are we allowed?
It is August 10th, and that is still happening. And they are 3 games behind the Atlanta Braves for second place in the division and for the first NL wild card spot.
Yeah, it's cool that the Phillies have been like 24-6, so, and still have like made up 2 games on the Braves. Really cool, really good stuff. Yeah, the top 3 in the division, I think, over the last month or month and a half have had like 600 plus like winning percentage. So like 3 of the best teams in baseball have been at the top of the NL East for the past pretty much like midsummer to this point now, which is super cool. But yeah, the Phillies taking care of business is what I would call this portion of the season, which is really exciting. And you know, got Gene back, looking nice. Had a big home run last night. Bryce is working his way back. You know, he's not going to be throwing. We got a little too teased, I think, with that news early on. But just having him back as a DH is going to make this lineup even more scary. I think the big story too is JT and how hot he's been. He's batting he's like a 1,200 OPS over the last month, which is, you know, sometimes with like baseball people throw out those stats, 1,200 OPS is like a all-timer season.
Yeah.
Now, of course, that's only within a month, but like that is like a Barry Bonds season.
Yes.
Is having a 1,200 OPS. So that's to give some context to just how good JT has been over the past month. And yeah, I think this Phillies team is they're reeling us in. I'll tell you that much. They're reeling us in to what I don't know. It feels like a trap, but I'm curious.
Feels good to have meaningful baseball in August.
Yeah, like to care about the results
Yes.
of. You know what I've actually really enjoyed is I've already started doing, and I think a lot of people have already started doing, is like other game watching. Like people, like I saw people like getting really upset about, of course, Gabe Kapler and his decisions because the Giants and Padres are playing today, and the Padres are currently blowing them out. But it's nice now you get into that zone where you're caring just as much about some other teams as you
Found
are
myself
about.
rooting for the Mets to beat the Braves.
Yeah, that felt dirty.
That was grimy, but a necessary grime.
But you know what? I think it would be so funny though if I've said this and I'm manifesting it, that if the Braves catch the Mets and the Mets get bounced by the Dodgers in the wild card, that would just be my favorite timeline, I think. But yeah, I mean, again, it's just the top of this division has been really good, and even a team like the Marlins, have kind of had our number in years past. Not an easy series going into this, and tonight is definitely a hard test. Kicks off a very big test in like three very top end pitchers, but that I would say have not historically had a lot of success against either.
The nice part is though, the last time that the Phillies played the Marlins, they did get the best of Sandy Alcantara in Miami, which was very nice.
Shocking too.
But I mean, it seems like every trade deadline acquisition is stepping up and playing well, which is good to see. So far, Noah Syndergaard on the mound tonight against the Marlins. I mean, like you said, it's great to be able to kind of scoreboard watch now, and it be meaningful scoreboard watching.
Right.
Did you see everything that kind of transpired last night between our game and the things going on in the stands during our game, and then everything going on in the booth in New York with one Keith Hernandez?
Hey, why is Keith Hernandez like throwing strays at the Phillies all of a sudden? By the way, the Phillies are one of the most error-free teams.
They are tied for the second fewest errors in all of baseball.
Good fielding percentage, which isn't like the be-all, end-all. But like, this is not the sloppiest Phillies team by a long shot. So
also, shout out to Tom McCarthy for clapping back on the broadcast as well. I don't know if you heard that.
I did not.
Alec Boehm made the play at third, threw it over to Gene to get the out at second, and McCarthy goes, "All right, Keith, how's that for you?"
Give it to him. Give him the big one.
But Keith Hernandez, just from the clouds, saying he schedules with SNY to avoid calling Mets-Phillies games.
What a giant baby.
Just a clown.
Just filling his diaper. You know what's great about that is I can't wait till they're dumped in like the second week of October.
You know what's going to be even funnier now that all this is happening? Because I'm pretty sure the way things would work out, if the playoffs started today, it would be Mets-Phillies round one. Keith, you're going to have a lot of games to call against the Phils. I can't do it.
He's got to duck out of that one. That feels like a quote, too, that comes back to haunt you. Mm-hmm. Like that's just never... You can say that privately, like if you really feel that way, which is a dumb way to feel. To have it like publicly said, though, you're asking for a funny graphic in like late September. Yes. That's it. That's
he also made it even more goofy that he's private on Twitter.
Soft.
But yeah, Keith Hernandez from the clouds, and then did you see Mr. Bedley from the Marlins? His family and friends were at the game last night in the stands wearing Marlins shirts, and that might have been the first reported documentation of Marlins fans existing. Flipping off Phillies fans when he hits the home run. And then
I like the spirit. I'll say that.
Here's the funny part. Bedley's from Pennsylvania. His girlfriend is from Philly and is currently in dental school at Temple.
Nice.
And at Phillies Muse on Twitter. Shout out to them. They posted the video of them flipping everyone off, and it was like, here's the first evidence of Marlins fans existing. And I guess one of Bedlay's friends that was there quote tweeted and said, just to set the record straight, we're fans of Bedlay, not Marlins fans.
And you know what? Fair enough. I think I'd want to make that distinction too. Is that so? I was not. It was like hear the audio. I was like somewhere where like the game was playing. They kept showing like a group of Marlins fans that I'm assuming must have been because I was like, that's because it was like I don't know. It was probably like 10 or 12 of them, and I was like, that's odd.
It's a lot.
You don't often see Marlins are a solitary fish. You know, they don't usually go in schools. So I was a little taken aback by that.
So that happened. The game then was 1-1, and then obviously we all know what happened after that. The Phillies go on to win. So that's what I just view as old-fashioned karma. Flipping off
nice.
Your own, and then
I'll allow it. It's funny. It's funny.
We saw what happened after that, but it was nice to see the Phillies win a game too, where Zach Wheeler kind of, for Zach Wheeler standards, struggled to get through 6 innings.
Yeah. Man, you know what's been underrated too has been the bullpen.
Yes.
Through all of this, and that how much better they've been this season, especially. It's weird. You got rid of Girardi, and it's like everything got better.
Got rid of Jerry's Familia.
There's not a single aspect of this team that I don't think dramatically improved.
It's unreal. Hey, Ken
Rosenthal,
Rosenthal, how we doing?
I was looking at because we played this game last year a few times, and I think the year before we did the war game. And it's just like I don't remember exactly all the numbers. I don't remember having so many players with even a 1 and above
Positive,
WAR.
Yeah.
Who would you say? If you just all right. So here's the top 5: Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, JT Realmuto, Rhys Hoskins, Bryce Harper in WAR. Not surprising.
Still very funny that Bryce is in the top 5.
Yes, despite playing not even
64 games. I think
a third. Yeah, 64 games, like a third of a season. Yeah. Okay. Who do you think number 6 is on that list? It is a pitcher. It is not a positional player. It is a pitcher.
Pitcher.
A guy we love, and a guy we encourage to perhaps get a procedure 8 months before he.
Sir Anthony, the closer Dominguez.
Sir Anthony Dominguez taking over the Hector Neris crown. 2.1 WAR.
Wow.
That's
high for a reliever in this bullpen.
What the fuck? Is that allowed? Are we? Kyle Gibson, Cy Gibson, as his friends call him, 1.6.
It's not bad.
Yeah. Then Ranger Suarez, Kyle Schwarber, Gene Segura, again Gene with a 1.3 WAR, despite playing 48 games. Okay. Brad Hand. 1.2.
Who would have thought Brad Hand?
Connor Brogdon
stepping up
with a 1 WAR. Derek Hall 0.8.
The long ball.
And Alec Bohm 0.7. So I mean, kind of it's shocking stuff, honestly. Because I remember going through this list, and I think the positive WARs are maybe 4 or 5 guys.
I think it was Wheeler, it was Bryce,
everyone you would
Gene.
expect. I think Rhys had
something in the decimal points,
because we would do it every few months too, to kind of just check in on how the performance.
And I think
going,
Alec Bohm, I saw a tweet the other day that was tweeting out the F WAR for the Phillies. I think Alec Bohm has a 1.2 F WAR.
Yeah, let me try and find that. Yeah, I mean, it's just that speaks, I think, a lot to how much better this roster has been this year, and how much just better rounded out it is. Because in years past, that's been a very sad segment, and this time it's there's some actual something to be enjoyed there.
Also, shout out to Bryson Stott's mom getting involved with the tweet interactions with us. I mean, we're collecting Phillies parents like Infinity Stones at this point.
We will take it.
So Bryson Stott, Mama Stott, come through. We'd love to just have you join the ride with us for the postseason. The other day, too, Matt, I think it was Sunday's game against the Nationals. Entire infield homegrown.
Yeah. Look at that.
Alec Bohm, Bryson Stott, Nick Maton, and then Derek Hall at first base.
You know what? You'll have to see it. I love to say it.
I don't know the last time that happened.
And you know what that is too? That's good depth.
Yes, because you had Reese at the DH, JT was catching, and man, novelty-wise, it is funny, to kind of miss pitchers hitting, but without the DH, this season is completely different.
If by different you mean like
Bryce
awful?
doesn't play at all. Bryce probably doesn't play at all this year.
Bryce probably is recovering from Tommy John surgery right now. If there's no DH.
And Derek Hall's probably still at Lehigh Valley.
Trying to think what else is probably awful. Everything. I mean, do we even sign Schwarber? If there's do
we sign Castellanos?
I think the DH. Listen, I've always said that I love the DH. I think it was the best. Pure baseball,
American
right there.
League baseball, baby.
Yeah, they all had it right for so long. I'm so glad that we converted. We saw the truth in what we saw. So I'm glad.
Brandon Marsh starting to hit a little bit too. You don't need to
I
hit
think
for
we should see what's up with Logan Hoppy in like 5 years. We should.
Shout out to Logan though. He did hit his first home run, I believe, for the Trash Pandas. Which did you see? The Trash Pandas launched fireworks into their crowd on firework night.
Nice.
Somebody.
It's interactive.
Someone quotes me and said, just as accurate as Angels pitching.
You hate to say it.
But I mean, Phil's, they kind of are in control of this right now in terms of just on paper with their schedule. Like, now you have the Marlins. Obviously, I went through their schedule for the most recent episode I recorded. They have 4 more teams on the schedule that are above 500.
And you say kind of in control. They're firmly in control because they have, correct me if I'm wrong, they had the tiebreaker over the Cardinals and Padres and Brewers too, right? Didn't we?
And Dodgers, technically.
And Dodgers. So, it really comes, anyone in the wild card, and we still have enough against the Braves.
7 against the Braves and 7 against the Mets.
So Braves right now are 6-6. Mets, let's not talk about the Mets. 3-9 against the Mets this year. Not
big
great.
series this weekend.
But 80% of those games were before June. When this team is just talking about this Phillies team. Pre and post Memorial Day is almost just not reasonable.
It's 2 different seasons.
I mean, truly 2 very different teams. The pace that we're on under Thompson is 100+ win pace, whereas under Girardi, this was a team that was going to scratch 80 wins. I
saw a tweet. The Phillies have to go 29-24 the rest of the way to win 90 games,
which is unbelievable.
Which our preseason prediction, I think I had
you
them
had
at
89.
89.
I said 85. I was just. To be fair, that was in the Girardi era. That was. If I had known Rob Thompson was
coming down the pipe.
So I mean the Phillies are firmly in control of their own destiny, which is big, because it's when it's in your control like that. I think that's just the better spot to be.
And who would have thought they would have been able to leapfrog the Padres like that?
Yeah,
Padres
who would have thought the Padres,
Dodgers,
after all they did at the trade deadline, would not score a run for 24 innings?
Get embarrassed by the Dodgers in a 4-game series as we play the Nationals.
I got to say, as a newly converted Padres fan, that was tough for me. That was really tough to watch. Ideal meals, just real.
Did love. I forget if we talked about this when Bryce was in the booth. That was very fun.
That was better. That was better booth action than what we got for.
Yeah. Outside of the 8th inning of Sunday's game when we had Sarge back in the booth, which was great with Jimmy Rollins. Bryce casually just dropping Trey Turner's his favorite player in baseball.
He is such a weasel. He is, and I love it.
I will say, I was kind of shocked, yet had to go back and it kind of surprised me that Trey Turner's 29.
He does feel young, it does feel.
He came up in 2015,
right?
But he's the same age as Bryce. But Bryce came up in 2011 or whatever it was.
Bryce feels old and young at the same time.
Yes.
Feels like Bryce has been in my life for forever, yet he's also still in the prime of his career. He's had an insane career already.
Yes.
He's one of those guys too that it's very rare for I think top prospects to live up to the hype. Not that he's done it to the LeBron level, but it's similar in that
teenage.
It's not often that like a
phenom.
17, 18-year-old has been like, and even younger for
He
both
was
of them,
16
honestly.
on
Like
the front cover of Sports Illustrated.
LeBron was like what, like 15, I think, when he was on the front cover. Like, it's just so rare for those guys to actually, let alone be like LeBron, who is going to finish as one of the top basketball players ever, and Harper's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and it's going to be, I don't know what his legacy will be. It'll depend, obviously, what happens, in like this second stage of his career with the Phillies now, but certainly will be remembered as like one of the like flashpoints of this decade.
I think if Bryce wins a ring, he's like has the chance to be a unanimous first ballot.
I would like, yeah, like I'm just thinking that like if he retired now, who knows, right? But I'm thinking like I'm just thinking of like the way Bryce's the rest of his career goes. I mean, I don't know what the stats are for like 2-time MVPs, but I have to imagine that alone is going to get.
There's very few of them.
Is going to get you into a lot of good places. So, I think like just the fact that he was so young and is just doing what he's doing is insane. I don't know if we give that enough credit.
Can we also touch on that poverty franchise, the Washington Nationals? I don't know if you noticed this. They gave Bryce's number to Luke Voigt. Luke Voigt wearing number 34 for the Nationals right now.
Jesus Christ.
I said, good God. It's like a franchise icon.
Send him back to Montreal,
there you go.
Please.
Unbelievable. And I just love when the beating Philadelphia isn't as hard as they say it is tweet just continues to pop up.
That's my good stuff right there.
And then somebody also pulled up they had a tweet, you can't give Corbin 6 years. And since that tweet, Corbin has like a 5+ ERA. He's got like 30 some odd losses, like just terrible.
You hate to see it, but you also love to see it. I should say
it's
you really
so
love to see that stuff.
I'm glad we applied the pressure for the Nationals to go sign him. I'm glad the picture leaked of Patrick Corbin on the big screen at Citizens Bank Park, and the Nationals had to rummage together all types of currency to sign Patrick Corbin.
Matt Klentak, secret genius? I don't know.
Hey.
Yeah. So that's many people are saying.
Some people are out there claiming, if you will.
We should not listen to those people. They are what we call in the business false prophets.
Yes. Also see Joe Girardi in the dictionary. But big series against the Mets this weekend, where you're facing their 3 best pitchers.
Yeah, not ideal.
Max Scherzer, Jacob
how is
deGrom,
it? I know
and
that obviously
Chris Bassett.
Scherzer was in the division and still is, but I feel like we've played Max Scherzer 70 times. I mean, it feels like every time we're playing Max Scherzer. We've never caught them on like a time where he's like, 3-game series and we were not going to see Scherzer.
Right.
It's like every time we catch Scherzer. I don't know what it is.
I also cannot wait because everybody's hyping it up. Everybody's talking about it. I can't wait for Rhys Hoskins or Nick Castellanos to break out of a slump or Kyle Schwarber to just hit a fucking tank shot at Citi Field off of Edwin Diaz this weekend.
Yeah, their dumb little song.
Man, everybody's overhyping the fucking trumpets when the Braves catcher, William Contreras, walks up to the same fucking song. As soon as I heard that, I was like, all the luster's gone from
Speaking of baseball discourse, who's the Guardians pitcher that was like doing like the psycho fucking walk off and was like, shit, did you see this? And people were like wetting their pants about it. I mean, it's just like unbelievable stuff. People are like, oh, the good thing the DH is gone because next pitch would have taken to the chin. It's like, Jesus Christ. Like, what are we...
I'll say...
Baseball fans remain some of the weirdest people on the internet.
I saw one
It's like baseball, like hardcore baseball purists are like the incels of the sports world.
Yes.
Like, they are like,
them
brother,
and hockey
like,
fans.
hockey fans though at least have like some like self-humor about themselves.
Fair.
Like, these hardcore baseball guys, man, there's like nothing funny to them. And they're like these... If they were religious, they would be religious extremists. Like they're just the worst type of people.
I'll say this. I think there's a way better walkout now than the fucking Edwin Diaz trumpets. The Orioles last night introduced new entrance music for Felix Bautista, their new closer, since they traded their closer at the deadline. They have a light show that goes on, and he walks out to Omar's Whistle from The Wire.
That's good. See, that's good. And
That's
that's Baltimore.
cool.
Like, that's smart.
That's cool.
That's the good stuff.
And the Orioles are in a playoff spot still, even after trading all those guys.
As we all predicted. We all said that the Orioles were going to be very good this year, that they could make a playoff spot. Certainly. No one was talking about them being the worst team in baseball. No one said that.
Shout out to the other team in the DMV, holding it down there.
Some real life siphoning powers going on the I-95 belt.
You know what's even more hilarious too when you sit back and look at it? The highest paid player on the Orioles payroll this year is Chris Davis. Doesn't even play for the team.
And that's how you build a winning team. Is actually you pay someone and tell them that you pay them to F off somewhere else. It's actually the best way to do it.
Let's take a look at our favorite stat. It's the NL East run differential, brought to you by our friends over at Pickup. You guys can go to playpickup.com and play the season-long NL East run differential prop and all types of props. Football season right around the corner. They got one up there with all the newly paid wide receivers in the NFL. Who's going to score the most touchdowns between Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel, A.J. Brown, and DK Metcalf. You can play a whole bunch of props at playpickup.com. Rack up points on your fan profiles. Cash them in for prizes on the pickup marketplace. That's playpickup.com. Matt, the Mets are at a whopping plus 127 run differential, sitting at 73 and 39.
Yeah, it's all right. It's pretty good, I guess.
No big deal.
It's no plus 130, but
Yeah, The Atlanta Braves at 65 and 46 at a plus 83 run differential. Our Philadelphia Phillies at 61 and 48 with a plus 75 run differential.
I've always said that you want to have it you want to have it end in a 5 or a 0.
Yes.
I think those are just the best. I mean, that's what we've all agreed on as a society. I think that we want it rounded like that. So I think that's really actually, if you think about it in that sense, it's the best. It's the most aesthetically pleasing, I think, to look at. I mean,
easily
119, 83. Those are ugly looking numbers.
The Miami Marlins at 49 and 60 and a minus 39 run differential. And that stolen franchise, Washington Nationals, at 37 and 76, firmly entrenched in last place in all of baseball at a whopping negative 200 run differential.
I had to double check that was right. I thought my eyes were really deceiving me. That's impressive.
You have to try to be that bad.
Yeah, so I was looking on Baseball Reference. I was looking at the season series, and I think we've scored something we've scored 82 runs against the Nationals in 12 games this year.
Set a franchise record as well for most home runs in a series against the team.
So
against the Nationals.
Comparatively, so that's 12 game series. The Braves, right? We've scored 58 runs. That's just
wow.
I mean, what can you say?
And the best part is we still have 7 games against the Nationals this year.
Yes. And that's, I think that's all that needs to be said, actually.
It's the best.
10-2 against the Nats this year. Long may that continue.
Like I said earlier, too, there's 4 teams left that the Phillies play this year with winning records right now, and it's the Mets, the Braves. There's a 2-game series at home against Toronto, so everybody will be available. And then our last series of the season's against the Houston Astros in Houston.
Ugh. Disgusting.
They might be the most quiet,
no
team
one wants to admit it. Feels like an Astros here.
Yes.
no one wants to say it.
Everyone's talking about the Yankees. Everyone's talking about the Mets. Meanwhile, the Astros are sitting with 70+ wins right now.
And it's gonna be the Astros and Brewers. It's just gonna be, that's just the way this shit is gonna go.
It'll be the Astros and the Cardinals, and I'll just have to jump off a bridge.
Christ alive, the fucking the Budweiser fucking World Series.
The stolen document series from when the Astros were in the National League.
I forgot about the email, the phishing email scam
that the Simpsons predicted.
Somehow they also predicted monkeypox.
Yeah,
so
getting
a little worried about
that. Yeah, I mean, right now the Astros are currently sitting at 71 and 40. Most
Same-
quiet
same-
70-win team.
Same record as the Yankees, who have been slumping.
Slumping hard.
2-7 in the last 10. Yeah, shout out the Astros. Not really though, but man, yeah, they are like just smooth operators. The Astros.
They're one of the cooler managers.
Yeah,
Dusty
still
Baker's
hate 'em,
cool.
though. Still hate him.
They have lost a lot of the
I know, but
cheating
it's
guys.
like it's mostly just like the attitude about like. Listen, am I willing to believe that more than just like the Astros and Red Sox and whoever else cheated? Yes, right. Like clearly, I think it's more just like the air that they had about themselves, where it's like they're so cocky afterwards, and like so like I can't even describe it, but it's like so smug. It's like it really really soured me on all those guys, which sucked because they were a very likable team.
Yeah.
Before that.
You know what also got me giddy, man? I was looking on, ticketing apps and everything, and if any of them out there want to sponsor us, we are open for business. Scrolling through, just looking at, Phillies tickets. They had to be determined playoff tickets.
We can't get ahead of ourselves.
Can't get ahead, but when I saw that, it was one of those things where I was like, it was like the Antonio Banderas gif, like.
That's such a good one. That is one of my favorite reaction gifs. That's some good stuff
I was
right
so
there.
excited when I saw that.
And
I did say at the beginning of the year, if the Phils got to the postseason, you and I are going to a game. So
listen, you know what? Let's just see how August takes us.
See how it goes.
We got a long road ahead of us, but this is the most positive I've been about the Phillies this late into the year in a very long time. So.
Certainly in the duration of us doing this podcast.
Absolutely. And I since like the Phillies were a good baseball team, this is, I think, the most optimistic I felt about them.
This is the most, certainly, like, I think it far succeeds it, but 2018, around this time, the Phillies they were in first place at this time.
Yeah, the Phillies were same record, I believe, and then just melted down. And then you look at that roster, and I mean, it's clear why.
Right.
It was just not a little bit of fool's gold there. It's weird. It's weird to keep Capper keeps having these these magical performances, and then it all comes crumbling down. It's so weird.
Can't put my finger on it.
It's so weird. It's weird that keeps happening to that guy. I don't know. Strange. Yeah, that sucked. I mean, that 18 year. That was the Fortnite.
Yeah.
That was the Fortnite season too. So
shout out to Tomato Town.
We'll never forget what happened there.
We were talking about Houston a little bit earlier, Matt, and Houston was in London this past weekend as one Travis Scott is on tour.
We're just trying to get the largest tampering fine, maybe in we're going to get the death penalty. We're going to get the SMU treatment.
Yeah. Shout out to Shake Milton. James Harden at the Travis Scott concert in London with his good friend and former teammate twice removed.
Former teammate twice.
Kevin Durant.
It's just guys hanging out.
Just guys being dudes.
Just guys. I'm sure.
Guys trip to London, man.
Just guys.
And then post-concert, popping champagne in the hallway with Travis Scott.
Listen, I'm sure that it's just a coincidence. I'm sure it's just two dudes that had this trip pre-planned, hanging out, being guys. Certainly not thinking of ways that maybe one or both of these guys could conceivably, perhaps be paid a large sum of money by fanatics. All above water.
Do you think James Harden is going to sell his share in the Houston Dynamo to buy into the Philadelphia Union?
It'd be nice. Or maybe it's like a swap thing, something like that.
All of the concert going goes on, and then Kevin Durant meets with Joe Tsai and says, "Hey, buddy.
It's me or the coach that I chose."
Or Steve Nash. As Sean Marks is their GM.
Yeah. One of them both gone or him.
They got to go or I'm out.
Unbelievable.
And then an SNY TV article comes out today and says Kevin Durant has aspirations, if you will, of wanting to play for either the Boston Celtics because he wants to play with Marcus Smart or the Philadelphia 76ers.
I know which I would choose. But that's just me. I don't know.
I don't think it's possible.
Color me skeptical. I don't know that this is happening.
We talked about this when the KD trade request first happened. Sixers don't have draft picks to trade.
Yeah, like you just look at the packages that have been thrown around. Apparently, the Nets asked for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant.
And Marcus Smart.
It's just never happening, of course. But, I just...
but then apparently the Raptors are also involved, and they said that a Raptors package would be focused around
the Raptors
OG
are involved
Anunoby.
in the way that an incel is involved in a woman's DMs. Like, they're there, present, but it's unwanted, and is surely going to lead to, like...
It'll make you laugh.
Police action at some point in their life.
The players they mentioned with the Raptors were OG Anunoby and Thad Young.
Yeah, okay.
So that just means we can get Kevin Durant for Furkan Korkmaz.
And, like, the rights to Geno Stakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see the Sixers having the ability to pull off a Kevin Durant trade. Do you do a Kevin Durant trade? Yes. Because it's Kevin Durant. Shouldn't be understated, though, that dude has kind of shown his true colors to be, like, kind of a toxic teammate. I don't know. Like, a
little bit.
It's, and I think the Nets told themselves the same thing any team acquiring him would. Well, it's Kevin Durant. You got it. And it's just, I don't, it's I think a little more complicated than people would perhaps like it to be. But just a talent alone, I mean, if you put him, Embiid, and Harden on the same team, that's an issue. But we said the same thing about him, Harden, Kyrie.
Yes.
And there was extenuating circumstances there, mainly injuries.
This also just proves that the Nets' problem was Kyrie Irving.
No one wants to say it for whatever reason, but Kyrie Irving has been a
menace
world eater.
to society.
Yes. What is the guy from Fantastic Four? The world eater, the
Dr. Doom?
No, Colossus or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that is Kyrie Irving. It's like so just comes.
Yeah, it's a
and just,
world eater because he thinks it looks like a cracker because it's flat.
It swallows a planet. So, yeah, I mean, certainly, I think you could blame a lot of last year's tension on Kyrie's kind of antics. I think it's very clear that was one of the main drivers in Harden wanting out.
Yes,
which is fair enough. I can't see Kevin Durant as a Sixer. No. I honestly think it's him and Kyrie and Ben to start out the season. Because you look at that Nets roster too, it's not a bad team. It's not like he's like running away from like this terrible situation where they're like rebuilding or something. Like no, they've.
Well, that's if Ben can get back in the group chat.
Well, according to him, it's a slow news day, so fake news actually.
What a story!
And you know what?
He left the chat.
Totally believable.
Oh, 100%.
Totally believable. Did it actually happen? Who knows? But it is a believable story, which is why it was such a good story. But
that was hilarious. Yeah, the Sixers don't have the draft picks to trade. Like, everyone talks about it. Oh, trade this player, that. But, like, the Nets are going to want draft picks for Kevin Durant.
Yes.
You don't have any more because you traded them to the Nets to get rid of Ben Simmons.
And, I know we don't want to talk about it, and it's crazy because we're under this investigation, which for most teams would be like the dominant storyline, but for the Sixers it somehow isn't. We're under this investigation for tampering, which is insane.
Ridiculous.
Dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Because I don't know how you even prove a thing like this. My Dolphins, of course, got caught up in...
caught slipping with
listen,
the goat.
I think... All right, cards on the table. I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with, like, if you want a guy, like, inviting him onto your boat and, like, openly... Why do we pretend... It's like how... At midnight on July 1st or whatever, like there's 30 free agents signing. Like you tell me these guys all picked up their phones,
contracts ready.
Like come on, like what are we doing here? Like it's
the fact
so
that there's
ridiculous.
Like legal tampering periods is such a joke.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, and it is fake news. And listen, me and an army of lawyers will be headed to Philadelphia because there is scandalous stuff happening there. You would not believe the corruption happening within the Philadelphia 76ers. So
ridiculous. Tobias Harris got married.
Yeah, good for Tobias Harris.
Had to confirm that it was not with Boban Marjanovic, though. because he did tweet, "Get to marry my best friend today," and the infinite amount of replies that said "Congrats to him" and Boban was quite comical. But there is a picture of Tobias, George Niang,
the all trade,
Tyrese Maxey,
the trade party as it was,
and
Kevin Durant party of 4.
Your table's now available. Table 7. Shout out to Tobias, but yeah, I mean, everybody going crazy about, and like, let's be honest, like, yes, it's Kevin Durant, spin zone. He's had an Achilles injury. He's not, 28-year-old Kevin Durant anymore. He's still insanely good. But you also got this kid Tyrese Maxey who's hooping right now, playing in the Rumpf Classic.
I'll say this. I would give up 10,000 Tyrese Maxeys. I love Tyrese. He is 100%. Tom Segura has this great bit where he talks about how he had a kid, and it's like people always say like, oh, like I love my dog. It's like if a dog like harmed my child, I would kill that dog and show it to my son. Be like, look what I did for you. Look what I did. I will protect you. That is how I feel about Tyrese Maxey. Like, Tyrese Maxey is my dog, and I love him. But if Kevin Durant wants him gone, I'm willing. I'm willing to do what it takes.
How much of an investigation?
I will Abraham my own son. I will.
How much of an investigation would increase on the Sixers if somehow, some way, they maneuvered a trade that did not involve Tyrese Maxey to get Kevin Durant?
There's really no shot. I mean, you're at like. There's no chance. There's no chance that there's any Kevin Durant trade without Tyrese Maxey.
What we need is Kevin Durant to get Sean Marks fired.
What we really needed was Kevin Durant to not sign like a 5-year extension.
Right.
Because he has zero leverage in this situation.
But we need him to get Sean Marks fired so that Steve Nash then has to become the GM.
What we need is...
And go full Elton Brand.
Brian Colangelo to be the inside man. You think it's better or worse for us with Brian Colangelo?
Oh.
Think there's hard feelings there?
I'd say so.
Yeah, but like...
Has enough time passed?
It feels like... It's not like the organization, like did that. Like it unraveled on its own, and the organization's hands were tied. So I wonder what kind of resentment is there.
Did you see Sixers Adam was on Ball with our boy Trill Bro?
Great
dude.
series, by the way. The re-sloppables and the digging up the old drafts. And
did you see the Luka breakdown?
I did not. I have not been on my. I've been on my binge, but I've not gotten.
So allegedly, the Sixers wanted to move up in that infamous 2018 draft, and breaking it all down, they were going to try to move up with Markelle Fultz to potentially go and get Luka.
I would have absolutely creamed myself. I mean, I just full filthy underwear. I mean,
and basically breaks down to wanted Luka, got Mikal Bridges, ended up with Zaire Smith.
Ben Affleck smoking. Fuck!
Popeye's worker.
God damn it. I'm so bad at this.
Which ipso facto, Zaire Smith being a Sixer led to Tobias Harris being
I will say
Sixer.
The greatest hope we ever had was that Miami 21 pick, because we were all convinced that was going to be the year that high school recruits could come out. We're like, it's going to be an insane draft, bro. It could be the craziest draft ever. And then we gave that pick away. Like 6 months later, we're like, don't need that. Damn.
And then Mike Mustafa.
I would do like personally illegal things to put Luka Doncic on this team. We were talking about doing like jail bids to get players on the team. I would probably do a bid for Luka Doncic.
How long is Luka putting you in the clink for?
I do a year federal prison. I'd probably do like 2 or 3 state prison.
Checks out.
Yeah.
Man, Luka with Embiid. Good night.
Talk to you. I give up a year of my life for that.
What do you think the next boys trip is going to be for KD and James Harden this offseason?
Man, that's a great question. Somewhere warm, I'm sure.
I'm 90% confident.
They're gonna be on a party island somewhere or something.
That would make a ton of sense.
They're gonna be like in Ibiza.
I stand correct. I thought the Union played Houston at some point in August, but I don't believe they do.
We had them like a few weeks ago.
Gotcha. I was going to say, they're probably going to be at that game together.
I could see that. Just best friends going to games together.
Just two guys being dudes.
Just two dudes who love playing basketball with each other and love going to games with
It's
one
real
another.
hooper hours.
Real hooper hours.
How do you feel about all these NBA players playing in kind of these off-season leagues, tournaments, and everything?
It's fun. Frankly, I don't care.
Just don't get hurt.
Don't get hurt, and also like people love to post the highlights from them and stuff and talk about how amazing it is. It's like I don't.
Cool.
What can you really glean from that? I don't know. These guys are good players. Like they're just very good. That's it. Yeah.
I just keep thinking if they had the popularity they do now 3 years ago, if Ben Simmons would have played in the Rumpf Classic.
Preseason basketball, I think, is the worst of all the sports because and here's why, in my opinion. The hype that gets generated off of any like court video of a guy just like working on his shot, like going through drills, or you see them do like Rucker Park stuff and like all of it. Like it just people get so obsessed with like these videos. It's like, yeah, I don't know how to tell you this, but like the 7'2" center can hit shots reliably from three in an empty gym. Like I don't know. I can't explain that to you anymore. Like yes, Ben Simmons in an empty gym can make threes every single time. But it's so different. Like you can't get to that level without being able to do that. It makes no sense. So, but people run with it like it's like the truth now, and that's just how these guys are going to be. And I think it is the most insufferable narrative wise of all like the major sports because it's like Christ, it is not going to translate the way you think it is.
Yeah, I think it's that, and I think it's NFL preseason position battles.
Yeah, like the. So-and-so is really doing great in training camp and whatever, and it's like, we get it, you know? Like,
fighting for the fourth corner spot.
Right. It's a little much.
It's just unnecessary. Preseason stuff, there's
so
no need
you gotta pump out that content, you know?
That's fair. Speaking of the Union, though, trying to get back on track. Tough loss.
But not our best.
Hey, the Aronson brothers scored on the same day, so...
Kind of. Brendan, he
claimed it, so if Brendan Aronson's going to say it came off of him, it came off of his shin.
He said, you're not going to believe this. He said the exact opposite, actually. He said,
because I saw an interview who say I felt it go off my shin, so.
No, he said, like, while they were celebrating, you could see him say, he's like, I didn't touch it.
Because I saw, like,
you can always kind of tell by the celebration with players, too. Like, they always kind of know that they didn't, and you can always tell there's a really, especially for him, that was his debut. That would have been a debut goal, like, to go ahead in the game. Like, you could kind of tell he was just like, yeah, we fucking scored, sick. Like, it wasn't like, I scored.
In that room that has, like, all the sponsor stuff and everything, they asked him about it, and he might have just been, like, facetious. He's like, I felt it go off my shin, so.
Well, you know what's funny about that room, too? And it's always, like, if you ever watch the behind the scenes stuff, it is like a tiny little
so
corner,
small.
And the sponsorship wall is like the size of that computer. Like it's so tiny, but it looks like massive when you see it. My favorite is the on the pitch ones that have like the clear backgrounds but have the sponsors on them. Those are my favorite. But yeah, shout out to the Aronson brothers. Not our best week or weekend for the Union, but
they'll be back.
We survive and thrive.
At it again this weekend against Chicago, I believe.
Yes, your boy Shabilko back at it.
gonna get deuced on. That's what I gotta say about that.
Yeah, we got the MLS All-Star game today against the Mexican League All-Star, so
I think the Union have 3 players now.
something like that.
Obviously, the GOAT, Andre Blake, is there.
Yes.
Someone got added late.
I'm trying to find the roster now, just so I can give it the truth. But yeah, I've never been. They used to have the All Stars play like a European team while they were on tour, and it's just I like playing against the Mexican League instead. I think that gives it a little extra edge.
Glessness got added.
Right. Yeah. So you have Paul Arriola, Jesus Ferreira, Fontas from United, Chicharito, of course, Jordan Morris, Rui Diaz, Carlos
Kyle
Vela,
Wagner.
Brendan Vasquez, Acosta, Drusi, Gil, Mukhtar. Reynoso's so fucking good. Yeah, Glessness added.
It's Andre Blake,
Kai
Wagner, Jacob Glessness.
Andre Blake, baby. There we go.
Stud.
Yeah, we'll take it, you know? We'll take it.
I think they'll bounce back. Still in first place.
Yeah, it's listen, this team is not going to be playing quite as hot as they were during that stretch. Certainly we're not going to be blowing teams out 6-7-0 with some kind of regularity, but
Still tied for second in the entire league.
yeah, still chasing LAFC.
As everyone will be.
Yeah, they're not afraid to spend the money.
The super team that they are. I know Top Ends came out earlier this week. Brendan Aronson obviously made the debut, but how's it feel having Premier League back in your life?
Gotta tell you, feels good, feels bad at the same time, you know? Like, it's, because then you just start planning your life around it a little bit. Like, I'm going away this week, and I'm like, all right, if I can get up kind of before everyone, I can catch, like, the first half of this, and of course, Serie A starts up this weekend, so I'm like, gotta balance that, but it's nice. I love having the soccer on. It's, I tell you, one of the best times, one of the best days of the year for me personally is the first day of the NFL season, because if there's an early Sunday game, you're talking from 7:30 a.m. till, if you want to stay up this late, like 10:30, 11 p.m. sports all day, because soccer runs right through. Like, there's usually a late game that starts at 11:30 for us, which takes you right through NFL kickoff, and then boom, you got 8 hours of football. Ugh. It is just, I mean, it is just true, just like sit on the couch and do nothing type of day. But yeah, I've been doing stuff while watching games, trying to be like productive still. It's just great to have it back. And it's awesome too, because it started so early, and because of the World Cup, which is something I would like to see kind of hang around. I like it starting, like first, second week August. I think that's actually kind of nice, but because the World Cup this year, everything's starting a little earlier than we're used to. I think it's a good feeling.
Eagles get back at it. Friday, they have their first preseason game.
NFL preseason, nothing like it, man.
Yeah, let's watch the first 2 series and get the heck out of town.
Gotta love it.
Obviously, Jordan Davis going viral at open practice this weekend, just absolutely destroying Cam Jurgens in one of the most viral NFL clips we've seen in recent memory. I mean, I'm still firmly on this stance. With the Phillies being as good as they are, with the Union being as good as they are, I'm totally taking it easy on football right now.
Yeah, it's all fantasy football for me. Starting to do some mock drafts and all that. But yeah, it's still, like injuries happen so much in like training camp and stuff. It's hard to get to emotionally. This is like prime text your league week. Like, hey, just starting to run things together. Like, if there's any rules you want to change, you're going to Fab this year. Who's getting kicked out of the league? Like, who's not active and all that.
Tommy Pham.
Yeah, Tommy Pham. This is like prime, I think, organization.
My draft is
week.
not until September 1st.
I personally love that. I'm a big proponent of like Labor Day weekend draft because
the only thing that sucks for me is that September 1st, I will more than likely at night be at some airport picking up our confidant DJ because we'll be in Boston that weekend for PLL quarterfinals. And Mikey is our commissioner, and he said, well, are you around the second or third? I was like, the second, I'll be calling a Vineland football game, and then that night leaving to go to Boston, and then the third, I'll be in Boston. So
That's the way.
guess I'll have to make it work.
Yeah, it sucks too. Like the hard thing about getting older is finding like an hour and a half window for like a group of 10 to 12 adults to have like total free time is just not. You got to go with whoever. Like if it's just like, hey, if it works for like in a 12-person league, like 6 or 7 of the people, and like 3 or 4 kind of on the edge, like I kind of got this. It's like, sorry, you just got to roll through it. Like there's never, unfortunately, going to be a perfect time. But yeah, if you're in a league or you run a league, maybe start sending out texts this week. Like, hey, what's up with the draft? How much you paying? What's up? Figure it out.
This is year 10 of my league.
That's impressive.
That I've been in with myself, Mikey, Dylan Mazzola, and a few other OG Nigel Lunsford, who notoriously with his first-round pick took the Seattle Seahawks defense one year because he was driving to our draft and just put players in his player queue. The Seahawks defense was number 1 in the queue, and he got auto-drafted the number 1 player in his queue, which was all-time moment.
That's some good stuff right there. That's good lore.
Matt, I'm going to have you pick a number 1 through 48.
17.
17 is going to be, let's see here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. Gotta pass through all of us here. Number 17 is at Tasio the Greek on Twitter. You are the winner
Tasio the Greek.
The Brian Dawkins variant cover Wolverine number 22 comic book. We'll be DMing you to get your information to send it out. I mean, it fits. His Twitter bio, Matt. I'm here for everything Philadelphia Eagles and superheroes. Comics, movies, action figures, ...
Okay, it went to like a... I'm glad. It's going to a good home.
It's going to a good one.
The council will be contacting you.
Be ready. Eagles Enemies returns this week as well. First guest, Zach Rosenblatt. First-time guest on the show. He's covering the Jets now for The Athletic. He might sound familiar to a lot of people because when he came here from Arizona, he started covering the Sixers for NJ.com, then went to the Eagles, then the Giants. Now he's covering the Jets for The Athletic. So Zach Rosenblatt will be in your podcast feeds with yours truly talking about Eagles-Jets going into Friday night's matchup. Eagles Enemies Season 5 getting underway. Very excited for that. A lot of classic, vintage, returning guests as well for that show this year with the Eagles schedule. I was looking at the Eagles schedule this week, Matt, just to kind of like get ready to book people for Eagles Enemies. It's a very favorable schedule. Like, I honestly forgot.
I think one of the easiest
for a second place finishing
schedules.
Postseason qualifying team last year to have the Lions, Vikings, Commanders, Jaguars, Cardinals without DeAndre Hopkins, Cowboys bye week in your first 7 weeks is pretty nice.
Yeah.
And then you have the Steelers, Texans, Commanders, Colts, Packers at Lincoln Financial Field, by the way, the Titans, the Giants, the Bears, the Cowboys, the Saints, and the Giants.
Not a bad schedule
Not
as far
bad
as Saints go.
At all. Also, it looks like the Lions are winning everybody's hearts on Hard Knocks right now.
That's how it always goes.
Dan Campbell making a D's nuts joke.
Respect. Respect the comedy.
Deuce Staley, though, getting the prime spotlight that he deserves. Should have had it here, but he's getting the spotlight from a lot of people, which is very cool. And also shout out to a friend of the program, Brandon Walker. He's writing all of the kind of reviews on every episode of Hard Knocks for NFL Network. So go check that out. He dropped the first one today. And Hard Knocks being back is like I'm not the biggest Hard Knocks guy in terms of just watching it, but seeing everybody geek out about it is very funny on the timeline.
Never been a huge Hard Knocks person.
It's a curse for your team.
Yeah, it's historically not been the best thing to do.
And I think they're doing the mid-season one with the Cardinals this year. So
yeah, I think that's technically the all or nothing.
Okay.
I think is what that one's branded as, which is what they do for the Premier League, and a few other teams have also had that. But that one's interesting too, because like it's crazy because Hard Knocks, it's like as it happens, you're seeing stuff pretty much, whereas like all or nothing, like you're seeing it premiered last week, and you're seeing stuff literally from like August of last year.
Yeah,
like it's like you're seeing the whole.
Actually, I think the Cardinals one is Hard Knocks because they debuted last year the in-season
Colts,
Hard
right?
Knocks with the Colts.
Yeah.
So I think they're doing that with the Cardinals this year.
Okay.
Which I'm curious when that debuts, what prestige Kyler Murray will be.
Well, if it's when the new one drops, good luck. Someone did a deep dive on when it's a Call of Duty double XP weekend and Kyler Murray's performance. And I will say, there's a negative correlation between the two events.
Call of Duty tweeted something about like something new coming out too in the very near future or something, and Kyler Murray liked the tweet.
The dude just can't stay away.
He's addicted to the grind, man. He's addicted to the grind.
You gotta love it.
Where are we dropping in?
Good for him.
Oh, man.
Don't let gaming get in the way.
I have told a number of people the comparison you told me about Kyler with Ben Simmons.
It is one of those things where once you see it, you can't unsee it.
They've had the same reaction I'm sure you had when you heard it, and then I had last week when you told me. They're just like, oh, why'd you ruin it for me? Why'd you do that?
It's just so you can't get hurt now.
Yeah.
Now you have armor on, you can't get hurt.
Right. You have reason to understand why he's going to hurt you. But yeah, Eagles back this week. So for all the sickos who enjoy preseason football, enjoy. Also, Eagles did a very, very funny, post-practice video that they posted on their social. Who smells the worst after practice?
Disgusting.
And it started with Devontae Smith. Ask everybody in between, and then Devontae's like, man, I don't know who to pick. All y'all smell a little musty.
I think that's a fair assessment.
It's great preseason content there from the Eagles social team. Also, best wishes to Jason Kelce. Quick recovery. Keep that streak going. He's getting the elbow cleaned out, but Nick Sirianni said, knowing him, he should be ready for week 1. So I'm not concerned as of right now on August 10th, but quick recovery for Jason Kelce. That's all we got for you guys. Make sure you're following us on the socials at Underground PHI, Twitter, Instagram. Follow Matt at Matt Castorina on Twitter. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Check out the website, undergroundsportsphiladelphia.com, for all of our written content. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, and leave those 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Smash that like button. Ring the bell icon so you don't miss a single episode of your favorite Underground Sports podcast in full video form. And, of course, comment how you're feeling about the Phils, the Union, the KD situation with the Sixers, and how you're feeling about going into this Eagles season. And big thank you to our sponsors who make this show happen. Main Auto LLC, Ducharme's Pro Foot, Security 21 Security Systems, Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated, and the Dental Wellness Center of Vineland. Tomahawk Shades, Pickup, Kenwood Beer, and Bino Board. All of their information is linked in the show notes on audio and in the description on YouTube. This has been episode number 454 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. For Matt, I'm KB. Till next time, we are signing off. Peace.